Hi guys, Faby Gonzalez, Cobo Banker West, and you're watching Good Day Chula Vista, episode 81 already. Can you believe that? Thank you for joining us, and I'm really excited because I have these guys here today. So stay with us. And we're back. Thank you for joining us. So today I have these guys that I love, both of them. Honestly, I worked with them for a while and they are family to me. So let me introduce you. We have Brian Daly.
Hey, Faby.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And Nohemi.
Hi, everybody.
You're already famous on Facebook. Nohemi Chavez. So thank you for coming and joining me. I wanted you both to be here because I know that when I met you guys here at this office or this house the first time you guys were working together. But before we go there, let's have some introductions. Brian, tell us about you.
Okay, my name's Brian Daly. I've been investing in real estate since 2011, and we'll get into it, I guess. But we was part of a bigger organization for 5 years, and I retired for 2 years in 2016, and I just recently came back. Mm-hmm. I've been in real estate really since 2005. I did mortgage lending for a couple years, and then I went into asset management for JP Morgan Chase. So we operated about 2,000 foreclosure transactions across the country. That's really where I got into the distressed market,
right.
and really learned about all the plights that REO real estate agents would go through, and that was kind of our segue into getting into the investment side.
Right. Yeah. So tell us more. I know you're married.
Oh yeah, personal side.
That's the best part.
I have an amazing wife. Her name's Tracy, and she is a budding artist. And I keep bragging on her because I'm so proud of her. She does oil paintings and some other ocean-related art.
I got to see a couple of them. Oh my God, they are beautiful. She's really good.
She's getting really, really good. And I have 3 kids. My son's 8, and his name's Braden. My middle daughter's 6. Her name's Kinsley, and my little hellion is 2, almost 2. She is worth at least 2 kids. Her name's Brighton. Her name's Brighton, and you'd expect that she's the angel of the bunch, but no. But love her to death. It's more fun, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So how were they enjoying when you took those 2 years off? Because you were not really off, right?
No, yeah. The 2 years I took off were not off. It was not actually retirement. I went in just to a completely different industry and worked. I was running a business for a well-known gentleman in the personal development space, I guess. But he's a hard worker, and so it wasn't off. I think I worked harder those 2 years than I did all 5.
You were already very disciplined, but I'm sure you learned a lot more.
I know, and my wife was disappointed when she found out that I actually got worse when I worked for him. Yeah.
Well, because you were kind of working from home, so I'm sure she thought like, "Yay,
you're
gonna be around."
Locked in my little cave
right.
in an
I'm
office
here,
for
but
14
I'm not
hours.
here.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's Brian. Now Nohemi, tell us about you.
Hi. Well, I'm with GG Homes, local investor here in San Diego, and I actually started in real estate back in 2004. I was like 5 years old or something. Super young.
5 years old. Yeah, right.
And then, once the market crashed, I actually went back to school and started working for a bankruptcy and estate planning firm. So we're filing like 70 bankruptcies a month. And we're working a lot with distressed homeowners and, stopping trustee sales, stopping foreclosures, doing loan modifications. So that was kind of like the first time that I started working with, I guess you can say distressed properties, distressed buyers. And then in 2014, I started working with another investor here in San Diego, and that's really kind of where I learned acquisitions, and I had pleasure of working with Brian, and now I'm working for another company.
How about your personal side? You're single.
I'm single.
Gotta put that out there. She's single.
I'm single. I have an 18-year-old daughter, and
She's beautiful.
yeah, she's my little twin.
Just
even-
like they're sisters. It's
Yes,
crazy.
exactly. They look like sisters.
You know, it's funny because people actually think that she's like older than me because she's taller, and then when she gets all dolled up, she wears a lot of makeup, and so yeah, we look like sisters, which is really weird because I don't know
Like,
if
I'm
I'm
the mother.
comfortable with that. Yeah, I'm always like, no, I'm her mom. Yeah, we're not sisters.
Well, thank you guys. Well, now you know who they are, and so one of the first questions that I have here for you is, what do you guys? Well, first, now tell me about your new company.
Okay. So officially, I guess, started back in San Diego about a month ago, but it's called Bluewave Investments, and right now strictly focused on renovating, redeveloping single family and smaller multi-family buildings here in San Diego. Exactly what we were kind of was doing before, but now it's kind of solo, and I've had, again, 2 years of kind of perspective on the market and how we ran things before and how I want to run things now. And I'm also, I think, hopefully, I like to say it, hopefully a little wiser from a personal perspective and trying to build the company around the lifestyle instead of the other way around.
Right.
But yeah, that's hopefully that answers your question.
Yes. So when I started working with you guys were in the same company, and I worked with them for years, but they were in this company the company's still around. It's called REIG. So one day Brian and Nohemi came, and I know Nohemi since she was a little girl. And we used to go out, and she was little. She couldn't go out. She would just watch us put on our makeup and go party. She was amazing. She used to love to see us. So she came here with Brian, and you guys were talking about the company that you guys were, trying to introduce to the agents here. And I know you came to a couple of the meetings, and it was just great working with them, even though it's a different company and it's still around. Obviously, the company is not them anymore. It hasn't been you guys for the last 2 years, right? So now they're with two different companies, GG Homes. It's Nohemi's with GG Homes, but I still want to work with them, even though it's hard for me because now they're in two separate companies, and I wish you guys were still together because it's hard. But I'll tell you why I love working with you guys when you guys were in that other company together, because I know you guys were the heart of the company, and I know you guys had a big team and putting it all together. But one of the things that I used to always tell you, Brian, because I know that I always did, I love that everything is a system with you guys. It's a system, and it was so easy for me as an agent because they would tell you, okay, so we're buying, whenever they told me they were buying a property for whatever price, that's what it was. It didn't matter what came up on the inspections after. They would do all that before. So whenever they gave me a price, that's what it was. You guys always stood behind the price. But then I was going to release the property, as most agents, we wanted, if we get a flip, we want to get a distressed property, we want to make sure we get to relist it. So whenever that was going to happen, we would get an email from you guys, and it would be like, okay, it's 2 weeks to the listing. This is what needs to happen. 2 weeks before, 9 days before, 7 days before. And I remember
I drove people crazy with that stuff.
I used to love it because I would be like, oh my God, I don't have to guess. Here it is. Like, it would just go from here to my planner. And then Gary, which I was so afraid of Gary at the beginning because I could never catch him doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
And then he would be like, well, did you get the email? Did you read the email? I would be like, okay. I would tell my assistant, okay, let me read the email 3 times before I call him because I'm sure the answer is in here. But it was just the systems that you guys had. And it was, the property's going to be listed. I can't remember. I think it was on a Tuesday, or you guys had a day when it needed to be, when it needed to be listed. And everything was ready always to be listed on that day, which is impressive because you're working with the construction company. They're not always on time. How did you guys did that? How did you guys do that?
I think just overall we had a really, really good team, and we worked on those systems like
You talk
probably
about it a
daily.
lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it was never perfect. It was a battle always behind the scenes to make that happen. But the systems forced us to figure stuff out, and it allowed us to have some sanity to the process, because redeveloping a house is really hard. It's almost easier to build a new house. There's a lot of things that can go wrong that you just don't know about when you open up a wall. So, so as you know, it's just really hard to plan it out. But every time we did a property, we would have kind of a. Now I call them. I don't remember what I called it back in the day, but now I call it a plan, do, review, which is like a reviewing of the things that went well, the things that went bad, the things we learned, the things we can do better to fix it next time. And just that consistent process, again, it definitely never went perfect ever, but every time we would get a little bit better and change the process a little bit. And
I remember only we had one incident, at least on the listings that I did for you guys. It was a property here in Bonita. And because I used to get listings from them, even though I didn't give them those properties, I would always be helping with comms and stuff like that. So
Faby's great, by the way.
I was honored to get some of their listings, even though I didn't find them that property, because you guys would find some on your own. But I remember we needed to list that property. I think it was like 3 days, and I went to the property and I thought, well, this is not even close, right? And then Gary said, yeah, you're going to list it that day. It's going to be fine by then. I was like, how? And then I get there the next morning and Brian is there super early. And I remember Mike, the contractor, I remember his face when he saw Brian walking in. And the next day there's like 20 people working on that house, or I don't know how many people Mike brought, but you guys got it done. And we did list that property that day when they said it needed to be listed. So I think it's the systems that you guys had and how you enforce them also. I'm sure you had a contract with your contractors, like it needs to be done this way, because most of the contractors, they're like, well, we're not done, but you had a contractor that was going to make it happen.
Yeah. Well, again, I think just overall like team effort and good communication, and just always trying to go above and beyond, not only with the product we're putting out there, but also, wanted to just really impress the agents that we're working with, and we want you to continue working with us. Yeah. So we'll do what it takes. I was
definitely impressed, and I used to copy a lot of their systems. I implemented a lot of the stuff they did, like to have it like that, because it just makes things so much easier. You just have to be more disciplined, and I think that's the tough part, like, because you have to commit. Like if you create a system, you have to commit to it, and sometimes you're the one that wants to break that rule.
Well, you're the visionary, right? You're the salesperson. Like it's hardest to get. Salespeople to follow a system. Remember the CRM, the battles that we had about this.
Oh yeah.
But that's just your nature, and so but you work with other people. That's why teams are so good. We were talking about this earlier about working around the team environment, the synergy. When you know somebody else is counting on you, you'll do a little bit different. You'll probably be a little bit better than you would on your own.
Right. Yeah.
At least me.
They expect that from you, so you're like, oh, I better perform.
Yeah.
Let me go over, guys. Don't forget to share this video to your page, and then give us some hearts and likes, because that's what gets our video promoted on Facebook. So please give us our hearts. And let me say hi who's here. We have Salvador. Thank you. Good afternoon. We have Ana Hueso. Thank you for joining us. Hola from Jenny. Ana Hueso, she's Lily. Erika Gutierrez. David Gonzalez. Thank you for joining us. Tony Reyes. Leti Hueso. Erika. Let's see. Frank Jimenez. Hey, Frank. He's also another agent. I think you worked with him, right? Frank Jimenez?
Yeah, we actually ran into a property last month.
Oh, good. Hi, Frank. I love him. He's so nice. And Monica Vasquez. Monica is also a realtor. I think she's right now with Keller Williams. Hi, Monica. Thank you for watching us. Laura Chavez, there's your cousin supporting you. Karen Vargas, she's our manager. Hi. We have, she has, I know. Karen, we're going to answer your questions right now. So I'm just going down the line. Okay, so here's the first question. Let me just say. Luis Isais, Victoria, Lisa Costa, John Sternberg. Thank you for watching us, John. We missed you here at the office. Betsy Ramirez. Okay, let's go see these questions. Karen, I know you guys do great upgrade repair work. However, many investors just do cosmetic fix. How can we protect ourselves? So this is our manager, Karen, and as you know, there's 800 agents here, and she's always fearful when we buy a property from an investor that it's, one of those investors that is not doing things right. So she wants to know, what should we look for as agents when we're selling these homes?
It's a good question. I mean, I think it's self-explanatory to always get the inspection report, right? I think it's prudent to look who you're buying the house from, to look at the tax records. There's a lot of very well-known established names in the market that do a good job, and they have a reputation on the line. So if you go, like GG Homes, you guys do a lot of houses. So you go online, you find out in the tax records who it is, and one, you either like their reputation or you don't, so you can guard your buyer ahead of time. And if you know them, then at least if something comes up during the transaction, you know who to hold accountable. Mm-hmm. One thing that I am going to start recommending, or possibly even doing before I even go to sell it, is a sewer scope. I find those issues come up more than anything else because it's not normally handled on an inspection, especially on older houses, 1970s or before. I mean, these old cast iron sewer lines are bad, and it's not necessarily negligence if it was never inspected ahead of time, yeah. But that's something that the buyer can either ask the owner, the rehabber, if they've done one, and if they did, what repairs they did, or if they had a sewer scope, they can share the video. I think that's a key tip. And if they didn't do one, then it's like $79. There's a company called Burtech Plumbing that will do it for you for $79. There's a few other ones that are like $150. But yeah, I think that's usually a problem that happens after the fact that surprises everybody. It's not necessarily the rehabber's fault in that case, but
when it's for the sewer line. But yeah, I think definitely, Karen, just enforcing with the agents that they need to have the buyers do their inspections and make sure that it's a good inspection company that has all the tools to really check, because we did an inspection on this condo. It was just a regular cellar, and they had done everything new, but there was a leak from the bathroom upstairs, and we would have never seen it if it wasn't for that tool that he could see that there was something there, like a spot, and you couldn't see it with the naked eye. So I think it's important that the agents are really encouraging their buyers to have those inspections. Yeah, there could be $400 for an inspection, but you could have the investor fix anything that's wrong with the property. I'm selling a property right now, and that's one of the things, because sometimes you buy these properties and you don't know that there was a tree before there, and that's what's breaking those pipes. And we did ask the investors, and they are giving us the video for that.
Yeah,
that's called.
Yeah, I mean, the properties are vacant while they're living there, and sometimes the seller that sells it isn't disclosing or doesn't know that there's a problem, and the investor doesn't live there for months while they're doing the rehab, and there's not a lot of water running down the pipes, and that can also cause problems, and so there's damage during the construction that you never know about. So yeah,
definitely do that inspection as well. Okay, Karen, hopefully you got your answer. The other, do you provide a physical inspection report after your remodel?
I don't at the moment.
No, neither does GG Homes.
I don't think I would trust it, Karen. I mean, them I would, because I know them. But if I was gonna have one of my buyers put an offer on a property and they're giving us the inspection, I'm sorry, I'm gonna be like, no, thank you, but we're doing our own inspection. I just think.
I think just like buying any other property, you want to do your due diligence. You want to do your own inspection. Yeah. Overall, on the, as far as the investors in San Diego, just also asking around and talking to other agents. about the quality of the work and just to kind of get familiar with them. But yeah, you definitely still have to do your due diligence, just like any other property.
So if it's a house that has raised foundation, what do you think they should be looking for if they're buying a house that is remodeled, like from an investor? What do you think the investors, if they're not good investors and they're just gonna take the shortcuts, what do you think it's something they can hide that maybe we can't see?
Well, raised foundation, you can't, I mean, hopefully you can get somebody to go underneath it, or ask a lot of these raised foundations, especially on these older houses. I at least the guys that I know that are doing a good job, they're looking at them, because we know that there's always some problem with these 1950s foundations.
Always.
So usually there's work done and there's some sort of documentation of that work. So look at that, and hopefully, again, you always got to trust but verify. You got to verify whatever you're being given. That's part of the due diligence, I think, on the agent's part, to educate the buyer that, yeah, it kind of sucks that you might have to pay $150 for somebody to crawl under there to look at it, but get somebody that knows what they're doing, that's impartial, that can verify.
Right.
Or, if it was a big enough repair, you'll have an engineer report and then an engineer certification of the work that was done. Now you have the engineer's stamp of approval, and you can call the engineer if you have that report available to you. That isn't always available. Walk around when you're doing your initial, before you actually put the offer in. Walk around. This is actually what we do when we're buying a house. One of the first things we do is walk around the outside of the house and look at it's called the stem wall. It's the little peak of the foundation wall that you're supposed to be able to see on around the perimeter, and just look for cracks. And then before you even get in an offer, you can, if you see any signs of issues, the telltale signs are little cracks at the doorways and windows. Yeah. And sometimes you can tell if it's been painted over. Just because it's been painted over doesn't mean that it wasn't done wrong. It just means that maybe it was an old thing that was repaired and
they'll fix it. So yeah, that way you can request some information about the repairs that were done if you see those cracks on around the windows and around the frames of the doors, right? That's usually where you see them.
Yeah, the key is, these aren't new homes, and don't. So educate your buyers that there will be a seller disclosure that hopefully has a list of repairs that was done, and those things are the repairs that seller or rehabber should guarantee. And then you got to expect that anything that's not on there, like, you need to really make sure that it was good. And I'm all about asking for repairs in the inspection. So ask for it and then see what you can get repaired.
And negotiate. That's our job.
And if you're working with or if you're buying a flip from a good investor, reputable investor, they'll do whatever the house needs, as far as repairs.
One of the things that I always, because as realtors we get a lot of offers from investors like, hey, if you have a property that is a distressed property, please sell it to us. I'm always careful because I want to make sure that the investors are going to do a good job. When I work with you guys, it's rare. I think only one time it happened that something came up after that we didn't see during the inspection, and I was a listing agent, but it was fixed. It was fixed, even though after we closed, and I didn't have to really hassle it.
Septic? It was a septic, wasn't it?
No, it was a fireplace that had like a little window in the back, and that house had an extension, like they made a master. So that little window was inside the closet, so when you open it, you could see to the back. So they just forgot to do that, and it was something that we all forgot. We never saw it. Not even them. They didn't see it until they were hanging their clothes, and they're like, "What is this?" It's a fireplace. And so obviously it was fixed.
And as investors, we also try to do, our due diligence, and we walk the property, and we try to
fix anything that needs to be
fixed. Or try to at least address as many issues as we can. But there's
sometimes
sometimes we will miss some stuff.
That one was weird. I remember Brian called like, okay, Faby, say that. What is it? Like, where is it? I was trying to describe it over the phone, and you're like,
I kind of remember this now.
I think you have to go see it. You're like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna go see it, and then he got it fixed. So now, when I posted this flyer about you guys coming to the show, there was one comment that I deleted, and it was from some guy that it's not one of my clients, and he was saying, never sell to an investor. They just want to take your money and flip the property and keep all the profit. So what do we say? I always laugh when I read those comments. So there's obviously, we know that not all the listings that I have can go to an investor. And I mean, you guys even say that, like, you know what, Faby, this is not, they're better off listing the property in the MLS, you know, for a regular. So what do you answer to those people that think that? How do we reply to this guy?
There's like, you know, there's, I don't know how many numbers of transactions in San Diego, but there's a lot, right? There's a lot of houses sold. And 99% of those should not go to an investor. We're not, I mean, I don't know about GG Homes because you guys buy a lot of houses, but we're not trying to buy everything. You know, and that is exactly what you said. Like, you know, a lot of these, one of the first questions I try to figure out when I'm talking to an agent is, you know, what is it about the seller situation that is makes this worth their while? Because it is going to be lower. You know,
right.
You know, if the house is really, really bad, then it needs to, the seller needs to spend some money to fix it up or sell it to somebody that can do it. And those are pretty self-explanatory. So in some cases it's a financial distress situation, it's an emotional distress situation, and they, you know, it should always be the seller's choice.
Right.
Yeah. We're just, I mean, another option. And it really does depend, like Brian was saying. You know, sometimes the property doesn't necessarily, like, has to be distressed. It might be really more the seller situation. Yep. Like, we worked a lot with military, right? That sometimes they get orders, they need to move, and they don't want to, and they can't sell traditionally. So there's a value, you know, to them to sell to an investor. Divorce, you know, there's just a lot of other situations, and so we're just another option. Mm-hmm. So
it doesn't really, we're supposed to be problem solvers. Like, there should be a problem that we're there coming in to solve.
Right.
And
not
honestly,
to take your money.
I wish we, you know, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but we don't make as much money as people think we do on these properties anymore.
We think like you guys make like $500,000 on each flip.
No, it's 2012
That's what
maybe.
people think.
Yeah.
You know,
especially here in San Diego, there's a lot of competition, very tight margins.
Yeah.
I see some of my buyers when they want to put in an offer on a flip. And then they tell me, well, you know, what should we offer? I'm like, okay, well, this is the list price, and it's going to sell for that. It's priced right. Yeah, but I just saw on Zillow, they bought it for this much. And I'm like, please don't go there. Like, come on, please don't go there.
Yeah.
Like, you that property the way it was is not even financeable. Like, there's no way. And I think that's one of the things that most of the properties that we bring to them, they're usually not financeable. Mm-hmm. So no regular buyer is going to be able to buy them because, you know, the condition of the house, the bank is not going to approve it. So it needs to go to somebody to fix it first, unless you're a buyer and can pay cash. But that's why we go to investors, because we tell the seller, you know, this is not financeable the way it is. The foundation is cracked, you know, too much termites. It's not financeable. You don't want to put any money into it. Let's sell it to an investor, and that way you don't pay commission. I will get paid whenever they relist it. You know, things like that. And those are the properties that we bring to them. Like you said, you guys are solving a problem.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't understand, including some agents, how investors work and the cost that goes into it, because it's not just
Tell us
the renovation, but we're also paying commissions. Closing costs. Yeah. So not only on the purchase, but also on the resale, staging, pictures, holding cost. You know, also depends whether we're using all cash or hard money. We're paying points, interest. So a lot goes into it. So the net profit is, you know,
Underwhelming.
Yeah. Sometimes you look at some
Underwhelming.
deals and you're like, oh,
It's
all the work.
It's a lot. It's a lot of work. It's rewarding. I mean, people watch these HGTV shows and they get the glamour of it, right? The Hollywood style, and some of that is part of it. Like I have a project right now in Normal Heights that I'm just enjoying a lot. It's got some character and some charm to it.
The one that I'm going to do the open
exactly,
house at?
that one.
I get the open
And so some of them are fun and some of them are not very fun. But there's a lot of liability, and like Nohemi said, there's a lot of costs that you don't necessarily see when you see the buy price and then the sale price. You don't. There could be hundreds of thousands of dollars in repairs in there that you never would have known about. So
Yeah.
Right.
And sometimes too, I mean, even when we do our due diligence, right, when we're walking the property and trying to come up with our repair budget or a rehab budget, once we buy the property and we start ripping off floors and walls, sometimes we've encountered, more repairs that we weren't accounting for. And so
Sometimes.
sometimes all the time.
yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah, so then, we maybe had a $40,000 rehab budget. Well, now we need another 10, another 15 grand.
To get it ready.
Yeah, so a lot
Now-
of cost goes into it.
Do you guys disclose what was disclosed to you from the previous seller?
Yeah. Try to keep a folder of everything that you get from the seller, and then you stack your stuff on. Well, that's how I do it. You stack your stuff on top of it. Scope of work and any other additional bids, budgets, and inspection reports, and kind of give it. It can be overwhelming because the amount of stuff there, but that's where I think a real estate transaction is such an emotional time for a seller. When you're an investor, you're not necessarily as emotionally involved sometimes. But buyers usually are, and you really, the buyer's agent can really make add some value to their client by helping them walk through that stuff. Because as a seller or the investor can't really explain anything. It's got to be the buyer to verify, because otherwise I got even more liability.
Right. Right. I like that because not all investors give you that. And to me, I like it when the investor is giving us the previous disclosures when they bought it. Sometimes there's not a lot there, but sometimes there is. And, I've never lost a sale due to that. But I think it's always good when they're honest and they share everything they know about the property. They're not trying to hide any of, the stuff that happened there or what was wrong with the house.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see. Karen, I know she had another question, but I can't find it.
It's because we have so much followers right now.
It's because we have comments. Okay, we answered that one. Letty saying, okay, hi Nita, Jeanette, Billy, Veronica, thank you for watching us. Are you guys at Hobby Lobby too? We have a lot of friends from Hobby Lobby and they take the break and watch us. Okay, what else do you guys want to share about? We have a lot of agents that watch this show, and I know because we had this flyer out there, they're going to be probably checking it out to see what you guys were saying. I know that for us as realtors, it's important that because we get tons of offers from many investors when we have a distressed property. Why should I go with you guys' offer? This is a tough one because we used to work together, and I was like, how are you guys going to compete with each other?
Now we're competition.
I know.
I'm kind of doing this one on purpose.
Friendly competition.
Yeah, so how do I know which investor to go to? Please, when I have a listing, please both of you do not send me one because that's going to be hard. Flip a coin. But so what should I be looking for?
Well, number one, I think that we kind of all gravitate to wanting to work with people that we like, that we know, that we trust.
Why?
Well, because for me, I guess I can only answer for myself. I'm going to always try to put my best foot forward. I'll give you my true feedback. For me, the relationship is very important. If I don't see a deal, then I rather tell you that and say, I can't pay that. Those numbers don't work for me, and leave it at that versus trying to the typical malpractices of other investors, like really
Give you the high offer, and then they lowball it
And
after you're in escrow.
and just keep you tied in escrow until, you know.
They try to wholesale it.
Yeah, you also have some of that. But, you know, like GG Homes, what I like is that they're very aggressive. They buy anywhere in San Diego. You know, we're doing about 200 properties a year,
Wow.
which is a lot. The company where I was at previously, REAG, I think before I left, the most properties we ever did was like 82 or 85, somewhere around that.
Yeah, you guys were doing good too.
Yeah.
That was 2 years ago when you guys were there, right?
So double the volume, and
Just gotta rub that in, don't you?
you'll get there. You'll get there.
I don't want to get back there. More power to GG Homes.
Yeah. So I would say, you know, just do your homework too. You know, get to know the investor, get to know their work, get to know the person.
Yeah.
And
Definitely check your references, because when you, as an agent, I know some of you guys that are my friends and have received offers from investors. I always tell you, you know what, that investor don't even take their offer, because they burned me already. And that's how I learned. You know, at the beginning, I didn't know a lot of investors before I met you guys, and I remember that I used to take these offers, and then they would lowball me later, like 80,000. Like, oh, this is how much we can pay, and I would be like, oh my God, now we're canceling escrow, going back and calling the other investors, and that makes me look really bad with my sellers. Like I don't know what I'm doing. I didn't know what I was doing with those investors. I got caught. So, you know, you have to make sure that you really get references on those investors, not just the company, but who you're working with, because many companies could change. Like I said, you know, it could be the same name, but it's somebody totally different behind the company. So you want to make sure that you're working, like you said, is the relationship. Like I have with Nohemi, like I already know she's telling me this is what it's going to be. I'm working with Brian, and he stands behind what he says. So kind of create the relationship with a couple of investors. You don't need to have 10 investors. You know, you can have 2 or 3, and that should be enough to get a good offer for your buyers. I mean, for your sellers, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think, I obviously love when, you know, it's only me walking through a property, but I mean, at the same time, I mean, I like that, you know, we should put our best foot forward. And really what I've been striving for now is, you know, I'm the one who control, like in this new entity, right? I'm the one who controls the money. I'm the one who has to live with the decisions that's going to be made. I'm the one who has to follow through with the rehab. So I found a new like form of clarity as I'm now walking the properties, you know, because I don't have a partner to run it by, and it's just me. So now I feel like, you know, after I walk through, I can put my stamp on it with, you know, a non-contingent offer. And the other thing I would suggest is, at this point, unless the property is got some really quirky thing about it, you like most of these investors shouldn't. I don't know about you guys. You don't necessarily need contingencies, but if you do ask for contingencies, or they do need contingencies, it should be specific, where it's a specific thing that needs to be investigated, like the foundation or the plumbing or something where you need a second opinion, rather than have this general vague contingencies out there. Make them, you know, make them
Be
specific about what needs to be investigated further. And you know, I hate blind offers. Sometimes agents ask me for blind offers, and I'll do it to them as a favor, and I regret it every single time.
Yeah.
So I tried never to do blind offers, and
because you cannot stand behind it because you haven't seen the property.
Yeah.
Something could be totally wrong.
And everybody estimates repairs differently, and this part of the problem with, I think, the bad vibes that investors have now is that the market has been compressed so much in regards to repairs, but then you have other people that aren't necessarily skilled at estimating for repairs, putting these offers together, or agents suggesting how much a repair is. But unless you've done a dozen of these, you don't really know what repair costs are going to be.
Right.
And so you got to have the person who needs to make the call go see the property, who knows how to estimate the repairs.
So don't take blind offers.
Yeah. Well, I did a little bit different. You're basically now doing everything yourself.
Yeah.
For me, if it's if it's a property that's it sounds, based on what the agent is telling me, is pretty straightforward, all cosmetic, no major repairs. I'm comfortable with giving them an offer price, but I will tell them, this is based on what you're telling me. But if you so we don't go back and forth. How about I go see the property with my GC, and then once I walk it with
What's
my
a GC?
General contractor.
Okay.
Then I can give a non-contingent offer.
Mm-hmm.
So if I haven't seen it, I mean, I'll still do a blind offer, but I'll probably do like 1 day for inspections.
I think maybe they're just giving contingencies without being specific. It's probably because they want to wholesale it, maybe, and they want to have time to wholesale it. How does that work? Like, how much time do you have to wholesale a property when you're an investor?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, you could technically wholesale a property in a couple hours. I haven't done it in a long time. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know how they do it now.
You're like, I want to keep them all.
Yeah. I mean, I never really enjoyed the wholesale model. I'll be honest. So like when I first started out in 2011, we didn't have any money, and we were great at going to find these properties, but we didn't have the money, so we partnered with other investors. But I never enjoyed it, so I never really followed through with that model.
Yeah, and then sometimes if you get too busy and you can't really do all. Remember the one we sold in? It was, I think, National City with a super nice view, and you just sold it as.
Oh yeah, we call that wholesale.
Yeah, that's a little different.
So we bought it, and then we decided we didn't need to do any work to it, but.
Yeah, that was impressive how that sold so quick. It was somebody that was waiting for a house on that street because a family lived there. Yeah. And they were willing to pay top. It was a beautiful
incredible view. Yeah.
Oh my God, yes. That house.
And it was financeable. That's one of the things, again, it was a seller that needed to move quickly, needed a cash offer, but we got in there. We could have spent probably $80,000 and made that house look like $1 million.
Yeah.
But it probably would have priced out most of the buyers because of the market it was in. Mm-hmm. So we just felt like it was better to sell it as is.
Right. Yeah, that was fun, and it's also quick too. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, hopefully you guys got some tips what to look for. Karen is saying that she feels that it would be a great insurance for all to get an inspection from the investor. So I guess if you do an inspection, give that to the buyer.
As part of the disclosure package?
Yeah. I think Karen is saying this because she's a manager, and she has to deal with all these files, and maybe not all the agents are doing their inspections. Mm-hmm. So at least if she has something, it would help her as a manager when they're going back and forth. Because then the buyer could see like, okay, well, you saw it on the disclosure, on the inspection, it was there. So she's just speaking as a manager that it would definitely benefit her if you get an inspection with the disclosures. I think it would be good for you guys to come back and talk to Karen. I know when you guys started that you came here to the company, and it was fun. So now there's more agents, so it can make it more fun.
I know you guys are growing.
Yeah, Karen was saying it's 800 now.
It's crazy.
Well, it was like 300.
Remember when you
came?
It was
like 4 years ago.
There's a lot of offices now too, right?
Yeah, there are more in, East County. There's a couple more. Monthly Leagues, all those are new. So yeah, they're doing really good. Okay. Well, is there anything else you guys want to say to them now that you're here? We do get a lot of agents watching us and a lot of buyers. So
I have one thing. Yes. It's been a nagging desire of mine. I know. So again, perspective coming back to the industry. I've been asked a lot by people that don't do what we do about how, like, they want to learn how to flip a house. Right. And HGTV, I think, makes this look so attractive.
And well, never mind. I'm not going to say what company that holds seminars for people to learn how to do this.
Oh.
And then.
But is that what you're trying to do?
No. So I don't want to teach people how to invest because there's enough investors out there. No. But I feel like what I want to do is find a traditional buyer, and I want to try out something. I want to try a model where I will walk them through the process of finding their own house that they want to fix up. Kind of like Chip and Joe Gaines, you know.
Okay.
Chip and Joe Gaines, they help these people find a fixer, but then they do all the fixing
for them,
and
then they sell them the house.
And they give them the house,
right.
but you know they're paying for the repairs, obviously, and they got some equity built in, not as much as an investor. You know, they can buy the house for a little bit more than an investor. They can have a little sweat equity at the end of it, and they can have a HGTV-ized house at the end of it. So I'm considering. I don't know if this is going to be too much work, so this is complete test. But I'm just throwing it out there, looking for one brave soul. I've got a kind of team that have done. A lot of people that I've done this with over the years that are game to join, and we would help do the design, the construction, the finding of the house. So anyway, something I want to try just to see if there's something there.
Okay, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely need to document it with video.
Oh, great.
When you do that.
Because I love video.
We'll be part of it.
Yeah.
Okay, how about you, Nohemi? You have anything for them?
Just thanks for having us in the show. Of course, for the agents that are watching, if you guys need a cash offer on any fixers, call me, GG Homes.
Good. Gotta throw that call to action in there. Good job.
619-342-5132. That's my cell phone.
Call me first.
Make sure you guys go back to the comments of the video and then answer just when we're done, so that way people have your information. Okay. And I highly recommend both of them. Like I said, please, both of you do not send me an offer on the same property. I'm just going to send it to one of you and one and one. But thank you for being here. I'm really excited for you, Brian, being back. I know that this company is going to do awesome. It's you're such a good man, and I know you're going to be blessed with this company. We're going to support you, and I know you're going to continue to grow with this other company. And hopefully we'll do a flip together. Maybe we should do the one that he wants to do. We should be the buyer.
Yeah, maybe we can try it out.
Right.
I am actually looking to buy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
All right, let's do it. Well, you know what you're doing. It's not.
Yes, well.
I need to find someone that.
She does, but she needs the encouragement or somebody to. Because it's hard sometimes. You want to do some stuff, but somebody to hold you accountable and make you actually do it.
Yeah, and I guess one thing is to doing acquisitions, right, for a big investment group, and then another one is finding my own home and me, buying for myself.
Yeah, buy it and then. Yeah.
I'm a little nervous. It does make me a little nervous.
That'll be. Okay, guys. Well, thank you for joining us. We're going to give out 2 gift cards for Starbucks. Okay, let's see. First, we'll have the ladies. Let me see. Let me get the word. Oh, pick a name.
Do I open it?
Yes, and then let us know who that is. Huh? What did you say?
Jenny JS.
Jenny, yay! Congratulations! Hey,
Gotta love the sound machine.
Albert Tapia is here. He's like, Brian, I see you. I
What's up,
love
Albert? So I've been working with Albert for, it's got to be 6 years now, and I finally met him in person today.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I told him I'm awful, and I'm sorry. I don't come down that side of H Street very often. So anyway,
he's great. He's very knowledgeable. I've known him since
Seriously.
I started, so
Albert
I definitely love Albert.
It's
Okay,
the man.
Let's get one more.
Hopefully it's Albert. That'd be cool.
I don't think
it's
you
Jeanette.
put Albert.
Jeanette.
Yay! I think she's with Letty. So yay! Thank you. No, Albert didn't get to go in there, I don't think, because he was... Oh, he did? Okay, you were here, but you didn't win. Well, thank you, guys, and hopefully you guys come back, and we'll talk about something different.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
It's a reunion right now. It was a reunion.
A reunion, yes. I was so excited about today. Thank you, guys. Share this video, and we'll see you next Wednesday at 4 p.m. Good day, Chula Vista. Bye. Ready?